Hello, Bill and Next Community. I wanted to show you the working optical drive here. And I know Bill is interested in purchasing one. So the disc that's in it's pretty interesting. I wanted to see what was on it, and it looks like it's got an old mail app. And it says Warp 9J, which was the code for. Man, I wish that flicker, it's not actually there. It's just the difference in resolution and refresh of the camera. And sometimes, there we go. If I hold it at just the right distance, it'll stop flickering. It's just finding that. I've got it zoomed in too. But it looks like this is working well. If I can see the cursor. Where are you? Come on, mouse. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's see if we've got any interesting apps here. The Paint app. So this is obviously from an early version of NeXT app. How about next developer demos? We'll see what's in here. And we can try, let's see what games it's got. It's got chess, billiards, and boy count. See if there's a science app. The usual subjects. Oh, it's got Zilla. Let's see here. Let's try this one. So this is actually running off the optical disc now. And it looks like there's a video app. I'm interested to see what that is. Show and tell. I bet this one will crash because I think you need to run 2.1, but it actually takes you on a little tour of the NeXT. There's a picture of Steve Jobs there. That's kind of a cool icon, actually. I should do a video on that. So this is the, what is it? Topology lab. And I think you go in and you pick your parameters and then it does stuff. But at any rate, I just wanted to show you, Bill, that this is indeed working. So that's cool. And apologies for taking a minute to get back to you. It's been kind of crazy, as you can see from all the different projects I've been working on. So these are kind of some early apps that I don't know that I've seen this before. What's that say? Compression. So they must have written their own little compression app. NeXT TV, Science, Score Player, Screenscape. Let's see what that is. That one's bombing too. So yeah, all these apps are probably early. So let's see now on the disk itself. Let me see if we can jump back here. You can hear it clicking. So I think we can show a demo of just drag and drop. Let's see if I can bring that up on the shelf too, or if it's already up there. Yeah, so if you look up in the upper corner, it shows that the optical disc is mounted. And so to copy stuff to it, you just drag and drop. I'm not going to bother doing that for now because I've been kind of running here and I don't want it to overheat. Now, on this drive, this was stuck. Normally, you can go in with a screwdriver. Let's see if I can move back here. And that hole right here, you can put a screwdriver in. Why are my fingers always... Freaking nappy was... I give much blood to NeXT. So you go in with a screwdriver and you press in, and then it'll eject the optical disc. In the case of this one, it wasn't working, so I'm curious as to what is on this drive. And so I've taken the top screws off of the bottom, and I'm going to get online because we have the optical disc service guide that I uploaded into the nextcomputers.org archives, and see if it describes if this is kaput, the manual eject. How do I go about getting it removed from this point? Now this kind of lifts up here, and I gather I might just need to take a couple more screws off and lift that whole board up, and then I should be able to lift it off the spindle. Or on the other side, so it's kind of neat. You can, once you remove a couple screws, it kind of hinges up like on a car. And you just have to be careful with it. So when you put it back together, what I sometimes do with these screws is, and that's what I should bring over. I've got my little cups. And so when I take them off, I know how many are on the top, how many are on the bottom. But as I was not too deep into this one and figured out that, the disc was jammed in there, I figured I'd just go ahead and do it and see if I can figure it out. I took the face plate off as well. And all of these screws are the same size, so it shouldn't be any problem putting it back together. Sometimes what I'll do too, if I am taking apart stuff, I'll take a photo of each section along the way, so I make sure and disassemble and reassemble, or I just have a movie going, like this one. So at any rate, stay tuned. More fun stuff coming from the black hole. I'm 3D printing some of those cases. I've got them set for the 72-pin SIMs. And so I think I'm going to have one that'll do single-sided and one that'll do dual. So I'm taking the original, it's kind of like an AutoCAD drawing. It's a 3MF or STL, or the extensions. And within Bamboo Labs ecosystem, Bamboo Studio has tools that lets you manipulate the original drawings. And then there's there's like Prusa Slicer and a bunch of different apps that lets you do more detail. So this cube is on deck to put the Mac Mini in. And it turned out pretty good. So as you can see, the Mac Mini up top here will fit inside. Let's see if I can get a little more light on the subject. That's one of my little projects. And in my 3D printing class, so if anybody's done AI and graphics, often the spelling of words will be wrong. And so it was funny in the class, I had my personal chat going, ChatGPT, I call it her GT. And it was kind of like she was cussing us out. Because I said, well, how come the models, the ChatGPT models can't spell, on graphics? And so she went on to say, this is my GT, that, well, we were trained in our large language models, and then we had the graphics, but they never put in that with a graphic that the text is important. And then she outlined if the philosophy where the industry's going is there's going to be a merger where it has a large language model and then OCR, and then there'll be a database of graphics. And then when it's not looking at that particular file as just a graphics static file, where if it has text or if it has a logo, it will get that correct and stop making spelling mistakes. Or if you make a request to add it to a logo, it'll stop making spelling mistakes. And then you take it back to the large language model, it renders it, and then everything should be correct. And so, I pasted it into the ongoing chat of the group, and there was probably about 80 students in there, and our instructors like just a whiz at at 3D printing, and we were talking about webhooks and how all this software works. And he's looking at it, he's going like, how did you do that? Where'd you get that? I said, well, it's from my personal chat. I call her GT. He's like, he takes that information, goes to his resume online, and then creates a webhook to pull the information off his resume. And he says, okay, let's see if I can get this working. And so he said, I'm going to generate an 8-page comic book, and I wanted to pull the highlights out of my resume and make graphics and make it like a cartoon. And I want he's describing how to do this. I want the text and fonts to be different, exciting graphics, and I want them to be at all different angles. And then he said, we're going to do the OCR. So he did all the outlines in my little GT session and wrote all the code, compiled it, and, it went out to the web, his LinkedIn, where he has his resume, and pulled all the information, pulled it in, created a graphic. All of the spelling was correct. All of the graphics were correct. The logo was correct. Just like my little GT said, if they did it the certain way. And so he's like, oh, well, I guess we just solved that. This is going to go out to all the large language models. So between, my thinking out loud, and then working with my GT, proactively with the class, and, giving it to the instructor, and he's like, one of the best in the world. He comes up with this thing, and I don't know, they've spent billions of dollars and no one can do that. So I felt pretty good, like a feather on my cap. And the guy that owns the company happened to be auditing, right? Outskill.com. He happened to be auditing the class, and he's like, this is amazing. We've got class participation, and we're actually creating software on the fly that works and is making a difference in large language models. And so it was pretty fun. So, my personality is really kind of outgoing, and so everybody was participating, and it was kind of fun. So, it takes, everybody contributed, like a lot of the other students were making comments, and so we were trying to figure all this stuff out. So I like being on the other side of artificial intelligence, where we're actually creating the tools to make it easy for everybody to use. And this is just one example. And so now he actually gave me the code and the class the code, so I can do it. And every time I create stuff, now the text, graphics, logos, everything should be good until it gets rolled into like your Claude, your ChatGPT, all your different language models. So, so I've contributed already in some small way. Pretty neat stuff. Stay tuned. More cool stuff to come from the black hole. And the best part is it is all recorded in the class session. So I'm going to see if I can get permission to pull that, because it's pretty interesting the way it went down. And I'll make a little video and put it out here on the site so you guys can see how it all happened. Neat stuff.